If you're hearing this right now, it's not random. You didn't stumble here, you didn't click by accident. Something in you was already reaching for this moment, and something in the unseen responded. You are here because money has already begun moving in your direction, and this is your confirmation. A quiet nudge from the deeper part of you that already knows the outcome. In these next minutes, you're not just listening to words. You're entering a state, a shift, a doorway. The same doorway Neville Goddard talked about when he said that everything changes the moment you assume your new identity. Right now, as you breathe and settle into this moment, you're stepping into an identity that doesn't chase money, but quietly attracts it. Naturally, inevitably, consistently. Take a slow breath in and let it move through you. Let the noise of today soften. Let the worries loosen their grip. Exhale, and let the version of you that doubts begin to dissolve. Because today, something else will take its place. By pressing play, you've activated a field. Call it awareness, consciousness, or imagination. Neville would call it the state of the wish fulfilled. And once you enter that state, the world has no choice but to reorganize around it. Money, opportunities, ideas, people, solutions, everything begins to shift when you shift. Before we begin the 7 chapters of this journey, I want you to feel something, not think about it, not analyze it. Feel it. Today, you are the version of yourself who receives money repeatedly, with ease and joy. You don't force it. You don't strive. You receive. You are stepping into a rhythm of abundance, and once you feel this rhythm, the 3 words you'll learn soon will land with the force of truth. They will become a new anchor in your consciousness. A quiet but powerful signal to the universe and to your own inner world that you are ready to receive. Before we continue, take a moment and support the channel by tapping the like button. It's a small action, but it tells the algorithm and your own subconscious that this transformation matters to you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, because the journey we're building here is only just beginning. And if you want to go even deeper, become a channel member to access exclusive content and support this work. You'll feel the difference. Now breathe again. Slow, steady, present. Let these words settle. I am the version of myself that receives. Let this be the doorway. Let this be the moment. Let this be the beginning of the shift that money recognizes instantly. You've heard Neville Goddard's name before. Maybe you've studied his teachings, or maybe you've only skimmed the surface. But right now, I want you to approach his message as if it's the first time you're hearing it. Fresh, unfiltered, alive. Because when you remove decades of misinterpretations, diluted quotes, and overused cliches, something pure emerges. Something sharp, something that strikes directly at the core of your identity. Neville never taught you to repeat words without feeling. He never told you to hope or wish or wait for signs. He taught something far more radical, far more transformative. You become what you accept as true of yourself, and nothing in your outer world can resist that acceptance. And that's where most people get lost. They repeat affirmations while still identifying as someone who lacks. They imagine wealth while still believing that wealth is somewhere out there. They speak about abundance while carrying the emotional memory of scarcity. But you, right now, are shifting into a different understanding. Neville's real formula was never about begging the universe for change. It was about stepping into the state where change is already done. There is no distance between you and your desire, no separation, no gap to cross. The moment you assume, I am the one who receives, you stop waiting for evidence and start generating it. This is the hidden key. The state comes first, the evidence follows, not the other way around. Every financial breakthrough you will ever experience begins inside you as an internal acceptance, a private identity shift, a subtle but undeniable decision about who you are. And once that decision settles, the world rearranges itself with surprising speed. Income streams open, ideas sharpen, people appear, moments of luck begin to cluster around you. What once felt impossible becomes strangely natural. You'll start noticing it soon, but before anything external can move, something inside you must move first. That's what this entire journey is designed to achieve. And the 3 words you'll learn later, they aren't magic. They aren't a spell. They are a trigger, a key that snaps you into the financial identity Neville actually taught. A shortcut into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. A doorway into the state where money begins to flow toward you effortlessly because you finally stopped resisting its arrival. Right now, feel this. You are not trying to attract money. You are remembering that you are already the one who receives it. Hold that feeling for a moment. Let it settle into you. There is a mechanism inside you that has been shaping your financial life long before you ever earned $1. It operates silently, without asking for permission. It colors your decisions, filters your perceptions, and silently determines what you believe is possible for you. Neville called it the state, but you can think of it as the inner command center that tells reality what to deliver. This mechanism doesn't respond to force. It doesn't respond to fear. It doesn't respond to desperate effort or frantic affirmation. It responds to identity. Only identity. And this is why 3 simple words can alter the direction of money in your life. Because the right words don't just sound different, they make you feel different. And once you feel different, your identity shifts. And once identity shifts, reality must follow. That's the law Neville taught, and it's the same law you're beginning to feel in your body right now. Most people live in the state of I don't have. They try to speak abundance while still vibrating with the emotional memory of lack. So their inner mechanism stays locked in place, repeating the same patterns, attracting the same experiences, looping the same financial story. But you're stepping out of that loop. You're learning something subtle, powerful, and often misunderstood. Money moves according to inner alignment, not outer struggle. When you speak the right 3 words in the morning, you're not reciting a mantra. You're triggering your inner mechanism. You're issuing a new identity command. You're shifting from the state of wanting to the state of receiving. And that shift is what starts the chain reaction that brings financial movement into your life. Think about it. Every decision you've ever made with money, every opportunity you felt drawn to, every risk you avoided, every moment of hesitation or boldness was formed from the identity you were embodying at that moment. Change the identity and the decisions change. Change the decisions and the outcomes change. Change the outcomes and your life changes. This is the invisible mechanism. It doesn't need evidence to activate. It creates the evidence. And those 3 words you'll receive soon, they are precise. They are designed to bypass resistance, bypass doubt, bypass fear, and go straight into the part of you that responds to identity-level commands. They place you in the financial state Neville taught, the state where receiving is natural, expected, and effortless. Take a moment and let this sink in. You're not trying to convince yourself. You're remembering your true financial identity. And if you're feeling the subtle shift inside you, that's the mechanism awakening. Every morning, before your mind speeds up, before you remember yesterday's concerns, before the world demands anything from you, there is a window, small, quiet, and incredibly powerful. It's a moment when your awareness hasn't yet chosen who you are for the day. A moment when your identity is still fluid, like soft clay. And whatever you impress upon yourself in that first window sets the tone for everything that follows. Neville understood this. He knew that the early moments after waking are not ordinary. They are the bridge between your inner world and your outer experience, the doorway between imagination and reality. And the state you choose in that moment becomes the silent architect of your day. This is why the 3 words you'll learn soon must be spoken in the morning. not because the words have power on their own, but because you are most receptive in that moment. Your inner mechanism is open. Your identity is malleable. Your subconscious is alert, listening, taking notes, preparing the emotional blueprint of your day. Most people spend their first moments re-entering the identity of yesterday. They reach for their phone. They remember what they lacked. They replay old fears. They slip back into the same emotional signature and then wonder why nothing changes. But you, right now, are learning to use the morning in a completely different way. When you wake up, you are closest to the state between sleep and awareness, the state Neville called pure imagination. In that state, you are not bound by memory. You are not bound by limitation. You are not bound by yesterday's identity. You are a blank canvas, available and open. And when you speak 3 deliberate words into that openness, everything shifts. Those words imprint your financial identity before your logical mind can resist. They bypass old beliefs because those beliefs aren't fully awake yet. They plant a seed before the noise begins. And once the seed is planted with emotion, it grows throughout the day, quietly influencing your thoughts, actions, reactions, and decisions. This is why, when you activate your new state first thing in the morning, money begins to move. Not always instantly, but consistently. You start making different choices. You start recognizing opportunities you previously ignored. You start following impulses that lead to unexpected gains. You begin aligning with what Neville called the bridge of incidents, the sequence of events that leads naturally to the fulfillment of your new identity. Feel this truth for a moment. Your morning is not the start of your day. It is the start of your reality. And you have the power to choose that reality before the world has a chance to influence you. Take a breath and let the importance of this moment settle into you. Your mornings are no longer accidental. They are deliberate, sacred, transformative. You've felt the build-up. You've sensed the shift inside you. And now you're ready for the moment everything turns. The 3 words that realign your identity, rewire your emotional center, and open the channels through which money begins to move toward you. The words are simple, clear, direct, unapologetically powerful. I am receiving. Say them silently for a moment. Let them echo inside you. Feel the way they land, not as a hope, not as a request, but as a declaration of identity. You're not asking to receive. You're not wishing to receive. You are the one who receives. This small shift is the entire formula Neville taught. These words carry no desperation, no distance, no sense of one day. They are rooted in the now, in certainty, in identity. You say, I, the self, the source, the creative power within you. You say, am, the present moment, the only moment where manifestation exists. You say receiving, not waiting, not seeking, not dreaming, but actively allowing, actively welcoming, actively drawing in. When you speak these words in the morning, especially in those first soft seconds between sleep and thought, you activate the financial identity Neville described as the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You become the version of yourself who expects money, who's comfortable with money, who feels aligned with money. And from that identity, money begins to move. The first effect is emotional. A quiet warmth in the body, a loosening of your internal resistance, a gentle sense that you're no longer financially alone. Then the mental shift begins. Your inner dialogue softens, your attention sharpens. You begin noticing pathways that were invisible before, ideas, opportunities, impulses that seem to appear from nowhere. And then comes the external movement, small at first. A message, an unexpected refund, a new idea that sparks action, a coincidence too perfect to ignore. Signals that confirm what you've already claimed. You are receiving. This is not magic. It is identity hardening into evidence. When you say I am receiving, you are not describing what is happening outside you. You are instructing your subconscious to generate the reality that matches that identity. And once that instruction is imprinted, it goes to work on your behalf with a precision that feels supernatural. Now speak the words slowly in your mind, again and again. Let each repetition sink deeper than the last. I am receiving. Feel how those 3 words carry no lack, no uncertainty, no struggle, only arrival. This is the doorway Neville pointed to. You have stepped through it. Now that the 3 words have opened the doorway, it's time to understand the architecture behind them. The structure Neville revealed again and again, the mechanism that turns inner acceptance into outer manifestation. His true formula was never complicated, but it was precise. And once you grasp it, you stop wondering if things will shift and begin watching how they shift. The formula is simple. State, impression, evidence. Everything begins with the state, the identity you assume. Not the identity you wish you had, not the identity you're trying to grow into, but the identity you claim as true now. When you say, I am receiving, you step into a state where receiving is natural, a state where abundance is familiar, a state where money doesn't feel distant or difficult or scarce. It feels like something that simply gravitates toward you. This is the foundation, the root, the cause of all financial movement. Once the state is chosen, the next step happens automatically. Impression. This is where your subconscious begins absorbing the identity you've declared. It doesn't argue. It doesn't doubt. It simply receives the instruction and starts reorganizing the pathways inside you. Suddenly, ideas appear with clarity. Decisions feel cleaner. Hesitation dissolves. Your behavior begins aligning with someone who is already receiving. You don't force the impression. The state imprints itself. And then, without effort, the final stage appears, evidence. The external world begins presenting the physical signs of the internal shift. This is the part most people misunderstand. They believe evidence should come first. They wait for proof before accepting the identity. But Neville taught the opposite. The identity creates the proof. The proof never creates the identity. Evidence shows up because the inner state has already solidified. You start encountering financial openings that feel timed perfectly. People reach out, ideas click, solutions appear. Money begins to flow in ways you couldn't have planned because your subconscious is now guiding you with quiet precision. Right now, pause for a breath and let yourself feel the formula operating in you. You have already entered the state. Your subconscious is already absorbing the impression. The evidence is on its way, aligning piece by piece, moment by moment. And because you're here, listening, shifting, receiving, there's something else I want you to do. Not for the algorithm, but to anchor this identity deeper inside you. Take a second and comment the words, I am receiving. Let it become a public declaration of the state you've chosen. A small outer action that reinforces the inner shift. You are living the formula now. State, impression, evidence. There comes a moment, quiet, subtle, almost easy to overlook, when your inner shift begins to ripple outward. The world responds before you fully realize what's happening. Money doesn't always appear instantly, but the movement of money begins. And if you know how to recognize the signs, you'll see that the process has already started. It begins with a feeling. Something inside you feels lighter. Your body doesn't carry the same financial tension it used to. You're not battling your thoughts. You're not replaying fears. Instead, there's a quiet calm, a grounded certainty, a sense that something unseen is aligning itself in your favor. This emotional shift is the first sign. Before the world moves, your inner world stabilizes. Before money arrives, your identity settles. You start to feel like someone who is already provided for, and that feeling is not imagination. It's the new state taking root. Then come the impulses, soft nudges from within. Ideas that pop into your awareness without warning. Thoughts like, maybe I should reach out to this person, or I should check that opportunity again, or this seems interesting, I should look into it. These impulses aren't random. They are the bridge of incidents beginning to form around you, guiding you toward the places where receiving becomes inevitable. Next, you'll notice moments of what people call luck, though they're anything but luck. You're in the right place at the right time. You hear the right information. You stumble into conversations that open doors. People respond to you differently. Your timing becomes uncanny. Neville said, "The world mirrors your state," and now you are seeing that mirror shift. Your state is receiving, so life begins showing you situations where receiving becomes natural. Another sign appears in your decision-making. You start choosing differently. You stop acting from fear. You stop hesitating when opportunities appear. You stop shrinking yourself financially. Instead, you move with quiet confidence. You make choices aligned with someone who expects increase, not loss. And then, slowly or suddenly, the financial movement becomes physical. An unexpected payment, a refund, a new client, a message that changes everything, an opportunity you would have ignored in your old state, now impossible to overlook. A shift in income that arrives with surprising ease. Each piece arrives in its perfect timing, forming the unmistakable pattern of receiving. Right here, pause for a moment and feel it. You are already inside the process. It has already begun. Your inner world shifted, and the outer world is responding. And because your participation deepens your identity, if you haven't already, type the words, "I am receiving," in the comments. Not for me, for you. To anchor the state, to signal to yourself that you're not hoping anymore, you're claiming. You're moving through the bridge, step by step, sign by sign, and the next chapter will show you how to strengthen this shift with a powerful 10-day ritual that locks the identity of receiving into your subconscious. Now that you've stepped into the state of receiving, the next step is to stabilize it, to make it your default, your baseline, your natural way of being. And the most powerful way to do this is through a focused 10-day ritual. Not a complicated routine, not a long meditation. Just a precise identity practice that aligns directly with Neville's method. These next 10 days are not about forcing anything to happen. They're about reinforcing the identity you've already chosen. You're not trying to become someone new. You're practicing being who you already are, a person who receives. Here's how the ritual works. Each morning, in the first soft moments after waking, before the noise, before the memories, before the mind starts moving, you place one thought at the center of your awareness. I am receiving. You don't rush it. You don't repeat it mechanically. You speak it or think it slowly with presence. You let the words settle into the quiet space inside you. For a few seconds, you imagine what it feels like to live your day from this identity. You don't visualize money. You don't picture numbers. You simply feel the emotional tone of someone who receives effortlessly, consistently, joyfully. This emotional tone is the real ritual, because Neville taught that the feeling is the secret, not the words, not the effort, not the repetition. The feeling is what impresses the subconscious. The feeling is what shapes reality. The feeling is what creates the bridge of incidents that leads to your unfolding financial increase. During these 10 days, you'll begin to notice small shifts. Your mood will stabilize. Your anxiety around money will loosen its grip. You'll start making choices that align with receiving. You'll follow unusual impulses that lead to perfect timing. You'll feel supported, guided, aligned, even when nothing dramatic has happened yet. This is the identity settling. Midway through the ritual, something else usually happens. You begin catching yourself throughout the day, slipping back into the old state, the state of waiting, worrying, or doubting. But now, instead of spiraling, you'll gently bring yourself back with the same 3 words. I am receiving. This single moment of awareness is powerful. It interrupts the old pattern and reactivates the new identity. It keeps your subconscious pointed toward increase instead of lack. By day 10, something becomes unmistakably clear. You don't just say the words anymore. You feel them. You embody them. They become who you are. And once this identity becomes natural to you, money moves toward you as effortlessly as breath. You no longer chase. You no longer question. You no longer wonder when. You live in a state of arrival, a state where receiving is your default. This is the purpose of the ritual. Not to attract money, but to stabilize the version of you who does. You've reached the end of this journey, but something deeper is beginning inside you. As you sit here now, listening to these final words, you can feel the shift. Quiet, steady, undeniable. The version of you that once doubted, hesitated, or hoped has softened, and the version of you that receives has taken its place. This is not a temporary feeling. It is not a motivational surge. It is an identity, a state, a new baseline from which your life will unfold. Take a slow breath. Let it rise. Let it fall. Feel the calm that comes when you no longer argue with your future. Everything you've learned here about the morning, the mechanism, the 3 words, the signs, the ritual, it all converges into one truth. Your inner state is the master blueprint of your financial reality, and you've already stepped into the state that aligns with increase. You're not trying to attract money anymore. You're not seeking permission from life. You're not waiting for the right conditions. You've entered the identity that creates the conditions. Neville said that assumption hardens into fact, and you have assumed the identity of the one who receives. That fact is already forming itself around you, piece by piece, moment by moment, movement by movement. As you move forward, you'll notice that the old patterns no longer grip you the same way. The fear is quieter, the pressure is lighter, the scarcity mindset feels unfamiliar, almost distant. In its place, there is a grounded sense of expectancy, not forced, not frantic, but natural, like something you always knew was meant for you, because it was. And as this identity settles, money responds, not with chaos, but with timing, not with struggle, but with alignment, not with randomness, but with intelligence. Your role now is simple. Remain in the state. Return to it when you drift. Speak the 3 words each morning. Feel their truth. Allow the evidence to appear in its perfect rhythm. Before we close, let this settle deeply. You are now living from the identity that creates financial flow. You are not becoming the version who receives. You are the version who receives. And if this journey grounded you, if it shifted something inside you, take a moment to support the channel with a super thanks. When you do, you reinforce this identity through action, an external echo of your internal shift. But whether you press it or not, know this: your new story has begun. Your new identity is alive, your new path is open, and money is already moving in your direction.